it's Carol. So recently I built my very first PC and my friends encouraged me to record the process of it all. So I decided to do so and put it all in one video. This was my very first build, so I got my friend Robert to come help me. So he's the other person you see in this video, and he really helped me throughout the entire process putting this machine together. So this is my motherboard. It's the MSI Mag B550 Tomahawk. To be honest, I don't really know too much about parts. I talked to a bunch of friends and family members who'd previously built their own machines and just compiled a list of different parts that they recommended, and those are just the parts that I used for my build. This is the CPU, and I ended up getting AMD's Ryzen 7. I've been using a MacBook Pro for the past 5 or 6 years now, and I really wasn't planning on building my own PC. But earlier this year, I started playing more PC games because of the pandemic, and it was just a way for me to stay more social with my friends. And the game that we play most is Valorant. And I was using a really cheap desktop that is like a shared computer that the entire family uses, and it just wasn't cutting it, so I decided to build my own. So for my RAM, I got the Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM, and I got 16 gigs of it. Next is the CPU cooler, and my CPU actually came with one. I have the Wraith Prism LED cooler, also from AMD, so it was kind of nice that I didn't have to buy a separate one. So at this point we moved the case in so we could put the motherboard into the case, and for the case I ended up getting the Lian Li LanCool 2. So once the motherboard was screwed in, we flipped it over so we had access to the back, which is where the power supply unit would go. For the power supply unit, I got the Corsair CXM 550 watt 80 plus bronze certified power supply unit. And once that was in, we just started to remove the back panels so we could feed all the cables through the machine to be hooked up. Once that was done, we put the hard drives into the machine. So for the SSD, I have a Samsung 870 EVO 1TB solid state drive. And then for my HDD, I have a Seagate Barracuda Compute 2TB internal hard drive. And once the hard drives are in, we started to wire up the machine, putting all of the wires into their proper spots in the motherboard. Lastly, we were going to install my graphics card, which is the Asus GeForce RTX 2060 Dual Evo OC video card. Originally, I wanted to find the RTX 3060 somewhere, but if you know graphics cards, you know that those are so difficult to find. They have been out of stock everywhere for seemingly forever. So I just ended up with the 2060, and I am still very happy with it, so I don't regret not buying the RTX 3060. Once I had unpacked the graphics card, we just installed it into the PC. Once the graphics card was in, the PC was pretty much built, so we plugged everything into the PC and then wanted to see if everything would run.
Okay.
Okay, make sure the motor's on. Hold on, don't press it, don't press it. Okay, you ready? The moment of truth.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, yeah.
No.
Hold up. I don't think.
What?
I don't think I turned on the switch.
Yeah, I got you. So when we hit power, nothing happened, and then we realized it was because the power supply unit hadn't been turned on. So we just went ahead and turned that on to hopefully get the machine running.
Okay.
Let's try again. Monitor's on.
Okay, the moment of truth.
Ready?
Yay! Okay, now we just need to see if it boots.
Oh! Wait, is this a good thing? Oh my god!
Oh,
It's alive!
You load it to the BIOS, so that's good.
Okay.
Done.
Nice. So once we knew that the machine could run and would turn on, we installed Windows 10. And we had a little bit of an issue when we were trying to install Windows 10. Basically, the installer kept saying that it couldn't install Windows into the hard drive that I wanted to put it in, which was the SSD. But we figured out it was because we had plugged in the SSD cable into the wrong slot in the motherboard. So once we'd fixed that, we were able to install Windows onto the hard drive that we wanted it to be on. And once Windows had been installed onto the machine, we just cleaned up the wiring in the back to make everything look a little bit nicer. And that was pretty much it. We just closed up the case and it was all done. Then all that was left was to set everything up on my desk. So this is my final PC build. I don't have too much lighting going on with it, but the case does come with different RGB lighting options for the front panel, but it's underneath my desk, so it's really not that necessary. It's definitely a huge upgrade from the computer I was using. Everything is overall much faster, and I don't get any frame drops during my games. And of course, just day-to-day use has been really nice on it as well. My setup is still a work in progress, but my desk is really small, so there's not too much that I can do to it, but I'm hoping to add little bits here and there to make it a space that I really love. And maybe once I've done that, I'll do a little setup tour. But that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. It's a little different from my other videos, but it is a process that I wanted to document. But besides that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!